Life has been nuts lately. My mom's been so freaky.
Your mother's coming back home.
Like, for good?
Is my mom well enough to be at home?
Absolutely.
I'm aware of the fact that sometimes I act strangely.
You know, in all my years, I've never seen a case like this.
I'm sorry that I cut your finger off.
Wow, and I thought my family was dysfunctional.
Yeah.
She's doing amazing. Her progress is great.
You have to welcome death. There's no new beginning without an ending.
You can't just go around killing people.
I'm starving.
Me and the
Dinosaur.
Boney.
His name is Boney.
Yes.
Recklessness, risk, manipulation. You two will have sex.
Not yet.
Halloween is coming. I shall prepare a glorious feast.
It sounded like a chainsaw.
There's probably something wrong with the blender.
Are you insane?
You are a psychotic whore!
Whoa.
No! No! No!
What is up, all of you beautiful souls out there in the world, man? You know what time it is. You know where we are. This is the Horror Pop Extravaganza, where the macabre meets the mindful. We take those two things and try to sprinkle them up into something awesome for you. This is an exciting episode, you guys. This is something that I'm super stoked on. It's something we've been kind of behind the scenes putting together for, a week or two now, trying to get things lined up straight. And I couldn't be more excited. For anyone who listens to the show, you know my passion for cinema as a whole, horror cinema specifically. I've always been a student of that in so many ways. And getting the opportunity to talk to, creators, writers, anything like that is always just like, for me, it's like, let's talk about this, man. Let's talk about the behind the scenes. And today I have, is it Branco? Guile Branco is the last name? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah. I have, and at first I was a little nervous. I'm not going to lie, but I've got Guile here with me, and I'll get into what Guile's talking about here if you don't see that right behind him right there. Because sometimes I've done a few interviews here or there, and you don't ever want to call somebody's baby ugly, you don't want to be like, oh man, I didn't really enjoy that and shit like that. However, every once in a while you get hit with a little gem, and anyone who knows me knows that I love digging. I dig for my horror, man. I want to find it, I want to find those cool little gems. And today, Guile, the director, I want to say co-writer, correct? Co-writer, actor, star almost, you know what I mean, in this thing.
Where are my hats? I'm getting my hats.
Yes, it's all three of them. Just stack them up outside. I'm sure producer, all kinds of things. Yeah. And we'll get into some of that. But Guile, I want to start by saying thank you so much for being here, my friends. We appreciate you. I know all of our listeners and our viewers, they really... they love this stuff. We've done it a few times, and it's rad. So before I go any further and we start talking all the good stuff, why don't you just, little introduction. Who are you? Where are you from? How did you get into the movie making business? That cool thing that we all enjoy. And yeah, man, how'd you get where you are today?
Absolutely. So I'm Guile Branco. I came from Brazil. Oh my gosh, moved to the U.S. probably 22 years ago. I have to make the math. It's been a long time. Yeah. But I was an actor in Brazil. Actually, I grew up in California when I was a kid. So I had a connection to the US since I was a kid. My father, he was studying at the Santa Barbara University in California. So we had this connection. I had this connection to the US since I was very young. But anyways, long story short is I was always writing, and I was always I've been acting since I was probably 17. I did a ton of stage theater in Brazil. And when I was in my early 20s, like I was 20, I moved to New York. I had to do it. And again, long story short, I did theater. I kept writing. I kept doing things, and that's the story. My dream was always to be involved in the film business, and I love writing. The two things I like to do the most is writing and acting. We can get into it, but the director Guile Branco didn't really show up until a Halloween Feast presented itself, because it wasn't really something that I was going to do. I was not going to direct. But I decided to direct. It was just a way to make sure the movie got made. It was kind of like when you're doing a low budget film, it's so vulnerable.
Oh.
And I felt like if I don't do it, I'm not sure this movie will exist.
And I think if I can stop you for just one moment, and that is something that I felt throughout the entirety of this movie, is what I'm watching is that somebody cared. Somebody was really trying, man. Like, because I'm a guy, I go way back, and I love dysfunctional families, all the way back to James Whale's The Old Dark House is one of my favorite movies from the Universal era. But you can feel that in this, and I loved that. When it first kicked off, and then I'm like, oh, we're getting some humor in here and shit too. But yeah, we'll get into some of that. But please continue. I'm excited.
You can always interrupt me, and because I'm glad to maybe I may get sidetracked and
no, by all means,
ramble. But
I do the same thing.
I feel like myself, I love writing. And the thing is, a lot of people ask me, where did this idea come from? I write a lot, and I'm trying always to write from the perspective of entertainment. And I felt like I love horror, by the way. I've always loved horror. When I was a kid, I can say that Freddy Krueger haunted my dreams. I was a kid. Oh, dude, I was a kid in the 80s, and I was just so scared of Freddy Krueger. That was crazy. And then I gotta say, I must have been a teenager. I saw a movie that changed me, a movie I became very obsessed. And I want to ask you if you've seen it, Pops. So Peter Jackson did a movie early on called Brain Dead. And Brain Dead is just silly and ridiculous, and it has the most amount of blood I had ever seen in my life.
It's one of my favorites. It's and even like Brain Dead, Bad Taste. You go back, you look at the super early one, but when you get to Brain Dead, you just have this perfect storm of somebody who knows how to use a budget. Peter Jackson, he knows how to use a budget. He knows how to be funny, but you also get these moments, you get the dinner scene, and then you get your dinner scene. And I was like, holy shit, we're just going to keep amping this thing up. But for everybody watches the pudding eating, you know what I mean? And his mom and her body falling off.
Body falling apart. And dude, it's genius. And the thing is, it is a lower budget film.
Yeah.
And it's a movie that there's no CGI. They had to do those things live. Yeah. So I think I got tremendously inspired by it. I just love that movie so much that when I was writing Halloween Feast, which, by the way, it was not recent. This movie is recent. This movie, right. I mean, we released a year and a half ago. But I've had this screenplay that I've been writing and rewriting and trying to make it cheap, because as a writer, I don't have the resources. I don't have big money behind me, so you have to be constantly creatively thinking, how can I make a movie that I can shoot with a small budget?
Sometimes we get the best movies when your hands are tied like that, because you have to get inventive. Romero's a huge inspiration for me. Being a kid from Michigan, the Evil Dead and Sam Raimi and everything he's ever, kind of the slapsticky, and I'm even thinking of Dead Alive when he's running on the blood.
And by the way, is it Dead Alive or Brain Dead? I mean,
so there was a release called Brain Dead in the U.S. and I want to say it was Bill Pullman and Bill Paxton back to back, which is actually a really cool movie. But it was right around the same time, so they rebranded it for the U.S. market to not confuse people with the other title.
Here you go. I just learned something new from you, Pops. Thank you. Okay, I didn't know that. So,
Right
you know,
on, right on.
people ask me like, which what is it? I'm like, oh, it's Brain Dead, but it's Dead Alive. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
same movie. But anyways, the first feature screenplay for this film, the first version was in 2007. So we're talking
Wow.
nearly 20 years
Right.
ago. So and it's vastly different from what became the movie. But it was basically, I wanted to write first of all, I love horror, so I wanted to be a horror comedy because I know I love the idea of
Yeah.
blending a comedy sounds
Well, and so
great, and it's
I've
hard.
always argued that horror and comedy, in a lot of ways, are the same exact things. It's setting up expectations and subverting them in the weirdest ways possible. But
Yep.
when you can blend those things together, you know, even the original Texas Chainsaw, there's some moments in
Yep.
there where I laugh my ass off. I'm
Oh
like,
my
Toby
God,
Hooper, dude,
absolutely.
you killed it with these little
Absolutely.
subtle nuance things. And I actually have some notes from your movie, some
Mhm.
small stuff where I'm like, good on you, dude, for just putting that in there. You know, it's these little jokes that almost make you think for a couple minutes, like, dude, okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I think it's difficult to do a successful horror comedy. So there is a daunting kind of like, what if it's not funny? But in my mind, I couldn't let it stop me. In a way, when I'm writing, I'm trying to like, okay, I think this is funny, so I'm going to keep it. But what's interesting to me, and what I can tell you is, so I created the screenplay. And about, I'm going to say, circa 2010, I had a co-writer for about a year, and that's Arthur McClellan, and he's
Yes.
one who's credited as a co-writer. He brought a Halloween Feast to the extreme comedy because he had that mind. I'll give you an example. I mean, spoilers. I don't care about spoilers,
No.
but
Yeah, we're gonna say everybody
I
knows
don't
who
care.
listens to this show. We're
I
gonna
don't give a
spoil the
shit.
crap out of it.
But he came up with ideas that were so crazy that I actually took out of this. So I brought it back to, I made it darker. But the scene where grandma pops up in bed in the middle of almost they're having sex.
Listen,
That's
I
his
have a
idea.
note. I have a note
You
right
know?
here that says "I heart grandma." Like I love
You know?
this character, dude. This character is so, and her just burping all the time, just like it's just great, man. I love
I'm going to
grandma.
give you another trivia. The burps are all the voice of the burps were added later, obviously, and it's my wife.
That's amazing.
She has a great skill of burping. So, I was with my editor, and I was just like, all right. So let's call
Great.
Kate. Her name is Kate. I'm like, Kate, can you send me?
So you get your
So
wife to burp for the
yeah,
ADR and do all this stuff, and that's beautiful, man.
yeah, grandma's
Okay,
burps,
so
man. That was
2007, then you said in 2010 you get the Arthur comes
co-writer.
on. Yep,
Yeah,
he's gonna help out, do the co-writing, but then you got to take some of that because it gets almost, And I'm a
yeah.
trauma guy, where I'm here for some of that, but sometimes it just doesn't fit where
yeah,
maybe in the story contextually.
yeah. I'm gonna say he was involved for about a year, and he was great because he gave great ideas. The biggest twist of the movie at the end,
Oh,
the brother twist,
yeah.
is his idea. And to give you an idea, I was so afraid of that ending. I shot two versions of the ending. I shot a version in which my character is adopted because I was afraid of what if people
Right.
get really
Right.
so I shot two versions, and then my editor, we were looking, and he's like, "You gotta go crazy,
Got you.
you gotta
Well,
just
and especially
go insane."
by the time you get here, and that's what I like this. You've got this kind of,
Yeah,
slow burn that's just kind of building, but then it's like, oh shit. Before you know it, you're trapped in this storm of psychosis, and you're like, let me out. Let me out, but I can't get out. Somebody
yeah.
please let me out.
So
But I understand that though. Yeah, having a
yeah,
different, just in case, just in case.
it, and I'm happy that he was on for a while because he brought elements that are so great in the script. And we actually almost. I mean, we in 2012. I'm just trying to give you a little
Yeah,
timeline.
absolutely.
2012 is over 10 years ago. Okay, a production company said we're gonna make it, and I really thought that we're gonna make this movie, like back in 2012.
Right.
And it just never happened. We believed they would bring financing and all that stuff. It never happened. So for a decade, the movie was just in and out of my drawer. I'll just take it out and I'll just writing and do rewrites and
Sure.
So for the longest time, I didn't know whether like I would ever have the resources to make this movie. But the blessing is that this time that passed, I think the story got more or like got better. I feel like things got a little better over time. And just to cap the story, I'm an actor. I'm always acting independent films, and I have a little career in Brazil. So I was doing a movie called actually this movie right here. Let's see if you can see it. See right here, me right there.
That's rad. Yeah.
Yeah. So I made this movie. It's like a bigger budget, like racing movie. We were shooting in Brazil in 2021. Yes. And then the movie kind of didn't do very well. And that was a kick in my ass. It was like, oh shit, I when I came back, I was so frustrated because I was really hoping this movie was going to be a huge success and kickstart like maybe a career or maybe move things and get things in motion.
Sure.
And it didn't. And when it didn't, I remember 2022, I said to myself, I'm going to make Halloween Feast no matter what. I'm going to make it. I don't know how, but I'm going to make it. So
I love that.
I called because I have a film company. It's two people, me and my buddy Lou D'Amato, who plays the doctor.
I was going to say, I saw him in the credits when I was looking through everywhere, and he plays that role fantastic, man. Like
he plays the doctor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've known Lou for 20 years. We met in New York. We were doing a horrible low budget film that was never released, and we've been friends since 2005. Okay, and so my film company is just me and him, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's in Connecticut, by the way. So he's under snow right now.
So you guys couldn't be further across on the coast. But that's, yeah.
Yeah, sunny California, and I'm sending him pictures of Malibu while he's under the snow. But anyways, I called him up and I said, Lou, we're gonna make this movie, and he's like, okay, and we just, oh man, we just started hunting for investors and we did a crowdfunding campaign, and it was just what you told me early on about the passion, man. Without that passion, you don't do it. I mean, you really don't do it, because. And like you said, when you have, I guess more resources, you kind of like relax a little bit, maybe. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I got the resources.
We'll fix it in post. We'll fix it in post. We'll fix it. Yeah, all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we started filming this movie, just to give you an idea, our budget was like we were at like $75,000. Okay,
shit,
which
man.
is
micro.
Nothing.
That's right. That's nothing.
Dude.
Nothing.
And it kept going up. I mean, in the end, we spent about 100,000, which is still like
super low. That's incredibly low.
This.
Right. Oh yeah, dude. Like I would have said, if you were I was going to ask you, if you were open to telling me about the budget, but now that you say that, I would have looked. You made 100,000 look like 500,000, 700. Like you, so
absolutely.
Good with the and even the camera. I'm watching the camera do some fun floats, some good like gimbal stuff, and some dolly shit. And I'm like, okay, somebody's really trying to say something here. You know what I mean? It's not just like let's point and shoot and be done with it, and just hopefully it gets a couple streams.
Dude, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how I was able to film this movie so cheap. Number one, okay, like almost everybody who worked in this film, it was their first feature film, which means they wanted to be there. And obviously they love the story, they love the screenplay. That's the beginning of it. But they were seeing this movie as, okay, this is my first feature film. So I was making deals with people, like instead of paying you, I don't know, $800 a day, can I pay you 300 a day? And yes, because it's my first
I
feature.
want to
you know?
be in it. Yeah.
So I just kept making deals with people, lowering their prices. All the locations were free because they're all friends of mine who have houses.
Where
Except
did you guys shoot in California? I'm
for
assuming.
Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Los
yeah. It looked
Angeles.
like LA. Yeah, it looked good.
LA. And we shot, you see, my house, we shot 3 days here. And then I have another friend 3 days, another friend 2 days. So we only paid for one location, which is the main family house.
Okay,
And that was
gotcha.
about
Yeah.
five. Yeah, that was about 5K, which was very cheap for 12 days. We were in this house
Sure,
for
sure.
12 days. So basically just making deals, and also a lot of people work for free. A lot of people work for credit, and that's the only way we could make this film. And also, I'm gonna say the biggest contribution to, I guess, the film was actually our editor, because Ryan Kelly, who is in New Jersey, I've known him for also 20 years. Not only he gave money to the film, but he edited, colorized, did some special effects. I mean, some sound problem, stuff this would cost at least I'm going to say $60,000. What he did for free for us,
And I
which
even
he
have
took care of
in one of my
entire
notes,
post.
like the editing in all of the sex sequence when she's got Richard on the couch, and you got
Yeah.
all this shit going on. But that
Yeah.
sequence was so well cut. I was like, this is good, dude. I was like, I can't. I've seen so many movies, Gil. I've seen so many horror movies, and I love it. It is a passion of mine. But I don't know. I guess you can just see it a little bit. Like you said, it's got that polish on it. There's something, especially in that sequence, I was like, man, that is a good editor right there. Like,
Man.
so good.
Ryan was a savior. He, not only he helped write a little bit. I mean, he would, rewrites and give me ideas and stuff, but also he was involved for a long time. And that's what I'm saying. The movie was shot for very little money, but if you just in the talent, if you take the talent and the salaries that I would have to pay all these people, yes, you're right. This movie could easily be 500 grand,
right?
Easily,
if not 750. Like you said, just I mean, you start putting in editing, sound design, even just color grading. You know what I mean? Just because you'd have your editor, you'd have your grader, you'd have all these different things.
And you mentioned some cool camera shots.
Yeah.
So we had a Steadicam operator. Now, do you know how much it costs to have a Steadicam operator? It's at least $1,000 a day.
Right.
But I'll tell you how. He was a friend of the actor who played the father, Richard. His name is James Griggs. And he was learning how to operate the Steadicam.
Yes.
So we didn't even know it was going to work.
Right.
Because he was learning on set how to operate that.
But that's how you get those, it's again, it's Sam Raimi with a 2x4 with a camera, you know what I mean? Just running through the woods. Like, okay, we're going to figure it out, you guys.
And not only, and he surprised us too, because we didn't know that he was so good with the camera that he became, during filming, the main camera operator, because he was like the genius behind a lot of the shots, and we paid him like $3K, for a month filming a feature film. So because he was going to learn how to do the Steadicam, and it was his first feature film. I mean, so that's how, when people ask me like, oh my God, how did you get this movie to be shot for so little money? And I say, yeah, it's because it's a group of people who really want this movie to exist.
Right.
Like collectively, everybody is hopefully talented, and everybody really needs this film to exist for themselves, for myself, for for their careers, and a lot of people can say now I have a feature film. We're getting actually excellent reviews. I mean, I
was looking at some of them too, and I mean, I'm here for, and I come into these things and I will be honest with people, and this is one to me where it was, one of those little gems that just came out of nowhere. And I even told my wife came in when I was finishing the movie up.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, what'd you think?" You know, and I said, "I'm definitely gonna watch it again, man." I said, "I want to kind of now go back and look." I said, "It's a ton of fun, dude."
You know what's interesting, Pops, is
Yeah.
I thought that maybe we would get guess movement around Halloween,
Sure.
and no, we're getting a lot of movement right now in January. I mean, people say, "But it's a Halloween movie." I'm like, "Yeah, but a lot of people are watching now," and that makes me so happy because I feel like it is a movie that is maybe an all year round movie if you into
Because and
movies and
that's
stuff.
that is one of the beauties of it is it's
Yeah,
it is a Halloween movie, but it's not trick or treat. It's not
yeah,
Halloween. It's not,
yeah,
like really pigeonholed into that. This is an October flick
yeah.
that we're gonna watch. Whereas this, I think you could watch it almost any time, and it's like this is just wild, dude.
Well, thank you. And on that subject, we've had a few people who complained that there's not enough Halloween in it because the movie it follows a timeline like towards Halloween, and then
Right.
the climax ending is a Halloween dinner feast, and but before that, we it's leading up to Halloween. And one thing that a lot of people don't know about the film is that this movie had a different title. Originally, the title was A Prodigal Feast,
Ah,
and
I
that
like that.
was that was the title from the beginning. So the movie was never meant to being a two I don't know 2 hours, hour and a half of just Halloween. This
Right.
movie was meant to being a slasher horror comedy that has a finale in Halloween. But there's no like it was never meant to have that extreme, I guess, focus on the
Constant seeing the
the
costumes, the
fall.
pumpkins everywhere, the leaves, I know
Yeah,
what you mean, exactly.
it was never meant to be that being that. But what happened was, so we got a distributor. Okay, so Breaking Glass Pictures, thank God they love the film, and they're our distributors.
Shout
But
out Breaking
before that,
Glass. Thank you. Thank you for
yeah,
this. Yeah,
Breaking
because I
Glass.
wouldn't have been able to watch it without Breaking Glass. So shout
There
out
you
to them.
go, there you go.
Yeah.
But they called me up one day, the owner, and he said, "What do you think about changing the title?" And he said, because a lot of people don't know what the word prodigal means,
Right.
and maybe it will confuse people. And then he said, to his credit, he said, if you don't want to change the title, we don't need to change the title. We'll keep it Halloween Feast. So I mean, a prodigal feast. So he left it to me to decide. And Pops, I spent maybe a couple weeks discussing with Lou. I was just like, oh man, I mean, should we change the title? And at one point, Breaking Glass called me up and says, "How about a bloody feast?" And I'm like, "That's good."
Yeah.
And so we were almost going with a bloody feast. And then Lou said to me, "I can't think of anything but a Halloween feast." And I'm like, "Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold that thought." Like, hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold on, hold on, hold on.
It does have a nice ring to it, It has a nice ring to it.
It does. And I'm like, so I felt like, yeah, maybe some people will be upset because it's not a full Halloween movie, which is okay. I'll tell them, yeah, I know.
Right.
I know.
Right.
But I just love the fact that even when people are searching for a movie during Halloween, it pops up. I think it helps the movie being discovered. The
Sure.
fact that with Halloween on the title, a lot of people love Halloween. I love Halloween, and they will accidentally
Right.
it's like, what is this Halloween feast? Let me watch this. So I think there's a positive in being more I guess mainstream with a name like
Sure.
that.
Sure.
So yeah,
Right.
so
Just from a discoverability standpoint, because people
yeah,
will just
yeah,
type in Halloween and
yeah,
see whatever pops up. And then you have this. And I also, at least my
yeah.
belief is that as this thing continues to grow in the zeitgeist and in the culture and that,
Mhm.
that word of mouth will definitely help this out.
I
Because,
think it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's because this is something that I'm going to tell all my people all over the
Oh,
country,
thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Like, check this thing out, dude.
Yeah, and I'm telling people, we're having great movement on that app Letterboxd
Oh,
that
yeah.
people review movies. So I'm always telling people, it's really helpful. So write a little review, just 3 words if you don't have the patience, because it's really helping. I feel like it's a Letterbox is a place full of more independent film lovers, people who understand, like, I guess the lower budget spirit.
Right.
Because I feel like, I think you will agree with me, general audiences, they tend to be more harsh towards independent lower budget films, and they'll be like, well, this is no Schindler's List. I'm like, yeah, no
It's
kidding,
not. Right. I didn't seek out to make Schindler's List. Right.
This is not The Shining. I'm like, no, it's not The Shining. Come on, this is like, a small team of people trying to make a movie with no money, But we, now that I look back, and I still watch it. I mean, we had a screening, a special screening in Salem, Massachusetts.
Cool, man.
Just now, around Halloween last year, and man, it was so much fun because people genuinely like it. The people who are into this kind of stuff,
yeah,
we get a lot of positive feedback from this movie, and the reactions of the theater when people are watching. And we had, I had no idea who was going to show up, in Massachusetts, like I think it was October 8th of last year. I'm like, I don't know how it's going to go. And we had about 50 people there.
Oh, right on, man.
And I didn't know. I'm not there. I don't know anybody in Massachusetts. So these are fans, people who came out and to see the movie. One of the funniest interactions that I had was I was getting in or whatever. I saw this girl, and I was just like, are you coming for which movie? Because she could have been coming for a different movie.
Yeah.
And she said, are you the director? I said, yes. And she said, my father hooked up with Ling Lowry in the past. So I traveled here to see this movie. And I'm like, what? I was like,
That's amazing.
So this random woman,
right,
whose father hooked up with Ling Lowry maybe like 30 years ago, or I don't know, 40 years ago, and she knows about it, and she's like, oh, it's showing in Salem. I'm gonna go make a trip because I need to see this movie. I mean, what?
And you talk about Lynn, and just the talent in this thing across the board is solid, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got some genre hitters, that show up. Pancho is one of my personal favorite character actors, dude.
Pancho.
Fucking genius. That man is an acting genius, dude.
He is. And I'm gonna let's talk about Pancho and Ling Lowry. Okay, so
yes.
Pancho he does stand-up comedy here, okay? And true story, I know Pancho for about 15 years.
That's awesome.
Because I was filming a television pilot like 15 years ago, and I cast him. And this was like way back, okay?
Yeah.
And so we were kind of friends, and from then on, 15 years. I mean, he's worked with Rob Zombie. I mean, he's doing amazing work.
So, and not only that, he's like, people don't realize the skateboarder that he was. You know what I mean?
Skateboarder. Yeah, dude, it's amazing.
Yeah, unbelievable. Like the old Thrasher videos and stuff. But you're right, seeing him in 3 from Hell, 31, he plays such an amazing like my favorite character in that whole movie. But he's one of those that if I see his name somewhere, like when I saw his name in your credits, I was like, yes, dude, thank you. But he's one of those actors that I'll watch anything. I'll watch anything, man, that he's in.
Pancho Moller is the only actor in my film who improvised all of his lines.
Shut the front door. Are you serious?
100%. Because you see, I'm a little bit like, I've been writing this for 15 years, follow the freaking lines.
Right.
But I let him go crazy because he was so good.
Right.
I was just like, okay, whatever he's doing.
I'm glad you did, because
whatever he's doing is way better than what I wrote. So I'm going to let him go crazy. And here's the thing. He would never do 2 takes the same. He would just create and improvise. And
every time.
So we luckily for us, we had 2 cameras simultaneously, okay? Because we couldn't do coverage. with him.
Oh, gotcha.
Because it would never be the same. It would be
Right.
just completely unhinged. And on that note, I'm going to tell you something, Pops. We have a Blu-ray release coming in March. And it's a double feature with Hayride to Hell with Bill Moseley.
Oh, I've seen Hayride to Hell, dude, and I
Yeah.
love Bill is one of
So-
my favorite human beings, dude, on the planet.
So it's going to be a double Blu-ray, Halloween Feast and Hayride to Hell.
Dude, be sure to let us know. I'll throw the link up so everybody, because I saw, for anyone listening, if you want to check this thing out, it is available on Tubi. I did buy my own copy on iTunes because I was like, or
Thank
Apple,
you.
yep, on Apple.
Thank you.
So I was like, yo, dude, I'm gonna support it, and I think that more than anything, you know, with small independent stuff is where I like to just you vote with your wallet, man. If you want to see more of it, like you have to vote with your wallet. But you can right now. It is available on Tubi. I love Tubi, dude. Like it's got
Tubi's great.
it is
Tubi's
amazing,
fantastic.
and it's got so many little gems that I'll find and be like, oh shit, man. Like,
Dude, the other day I watched Lars von Trier, like almost all of his movies
right.
on Tubi, and I'm
All
like,
on and it's
this
like,
is amazing. I can watch. I mean,
right.
I watched. Did you see the house Jack built?
I love it. Yeah.
Oh man, it's on Tubi. I'm like, what the heck? But anyways, so the Blu-ray release, okay, the Halloween Feast Blu-ray release, we're gonna have outtakes, and the outtakes are mostly Pancho Moller going nuts.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you something right now. I think the outtakes, the Pancho Moller section, are almost 10 times funnier than the movie itself.
Right. Right.
I mean, it's something you will never see. I think that people will go like, Halloween Feast was great, but those freaking outtakes with Pancho Moller, that's like that's
man.
I'm
Listen,
my pants.
I thought he was dead. I was so sad when he got stabbed in the eye. And I wrote in my notes, I said, Cujo lives. Cujo lives, dude. Like,
Yep.
we need this
He
man
shows up with the eye patch. You know?
And then has
The
to
eye
ride
patch,
the
yeah.
bus. When you put him on the bus, I was dying. And but can we talk a
here's
little
the
bit
thing.
about Lynn, man?
We have
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, Lynn, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dude, yeah. Lynn Lowry. Okay, I was gonna say something about the bus. So, okay, this is a low budget film, man. We don't have money to rent a freaking bus.
Right.
We shot the bus scenes with iPhones.
Nice. That's
We
beautiful, dude.
We sneaked in the bus,
And
and
just
we're
shut-
like, okay, we can't, you know.
That's that Roger Corman
my camera
guerrilla
guy was
filmmaking
like-
right there.
Dude, because my cameraman, we were shooting red cameras, the big, Genesis camera.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're just gonna go in and film. I'm like, dude, no. I mean, if they catch me, that's like a huge fine. I don't have money for that stuff. I don't want to risk it. So yeah, we just got everybody in the bus and we're just like, just like filming. So that's it. No, that's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. Now, Lynn Lowry. Okay, so Lynn Lowry is the only person in the film who I can say it was an offer, obviously, because everybody else is my friend.
Right.
I mean, all those actors you see in the film are people that I know for 10 years, who live in Los Angeles, who are actors, and they're all friends of mine. The exception is Jackson Layton. He plays the brother. We had an actor to play the brother, and then he had to leave 2 weeks before, so he had to do a casting. But everybody else is a friend of mine. So Lynn Lowry was we need a name, somebody who's famous to help sell the movie. And so she's the only one that was kind of like this wild card of like, how it's going to go. I don't know. I mean, hopefully she's nice. And she's amazing, not only as a person, not only she is the kindest human being, but she had all her lines memorized, and she was into it. Long story short, when we reached out to Lynn Lowry, I didn't know she would say yes, because we didn't have much money to pay her. I mean, we paid her very little, and it was a 3 weeks commitment to film all those roles. So I had written a 1 day scene. Because if she says no, I'm going to have create a character and add her for a 1 day.
Oh, gotcha.
So I sent her the full script, and I sent her the one day scene so I can have Lynn Lowry in my film. That'll be great, you know, and because maybe she doesn't want to spend 3 weeks in Los Angeles. I mean, she's in Atlanta.
Right.
No, we had to fly her to LA. So we're like, well, I mean, she may say no. So Lynn Lowry, she calls me and she said, I'm Angela.
Oh, dude.
And
Yes.
the confidence, the way she said it, I am Angela. This is my part.
Right.
It was almost like frightening of like, yes, you are Angela. It's just like, yeah, you are Angela. And you know, and she came and you know, Lou, my partner, he picked her up at the airport, you know, and he was and she was very shy, you know, so he was like, you know, she's very shy. I don't know how she can be this you know, all these lines and insanity that happened in the film. And she is the quintessential, like, you know, like Steve Martin, very introvert. Once you turn the cameras on, it's showtime.
Right. Yes.
And she is like that. She's very chill and very quiet. And man, when we had the cameras rolling, magic. It was just pure magic.
She is gold.
And
gold.
We
in
were
this
just
movie.
watching, you know, I was watching the scenes and I'm thinking, we have a movie. We have
Right.
like a real freaking movie here. She would cry in the scene, and when she's looking at the painting, the beginning of the movie, she's like crying for real, and I'm like, holy shit.
Right.
Holy, she's like crying looking at that painting, you know, which by the way is right here. This is the painting that's
Oh,
in
that's super
the movie.
cool, man.
Yeah. I have, you know, I have so much stuff here from the movie all around me. So it's
But she, you know, I just want to speak to her performance just for a couple minutes, because for me, she elevated this thing in a way where I was like, okay, I believe her. And to be willing to commit to all of the things that, you know, like we talked about, the couch scene is just when he walks in, joint in his mouth, like, what the fuck is going on here? And she's just like,
Dude.
shut up, you this. And I'm like, and then with the wig and shit, oh, so good, dude. She just slayed this role.
She slays, she goes nuts, and you know, there is a particular scene, as if you remember this, where the doctor gets shot and there's blood squirting upwards.
Okay, I have it in my notes. Yes.
Okay.
Where she stands over top of him with the blood squirting.
Blood squirting upwards there was not in the script.
She just did that?
No, I'll tell you what, I had the idea. We were filming, you know, and that scene was going to end with the blood going down, and the scene ends. I mean, that was it was kind of like, you know,
it was really pretty, though. I will say, when she's like lifting her arms and dancing, and it's like flowy, you get this nice low angle shot. So you're just watching this, and she's just gone, man. She's gone. Like she's fully broke at this point, and I love it. She's just like, okay, fuck it, I'm killing everybody.
So I told Lou, I said, Lou, I had this idea, but you know, I will tell her, and she may say no. Or she may say yes. So
right.
I said, hey, Lynn, I have this idea for this scene to end. And you know, if you guys are watching this interview, go on Tubi, and this happens for real in the movie.
Yes.
And Lynn turns to me and she says, okay, yes, sounds good.
And to me, this isn't even the biggest shocker in the movie. This is, like you said, when you get to the end, it's such a, you know, broken nuclear family picture that I love. It's what I love about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's what I love about The Hills Have Eyes. But in this case, it's not the whole family. It is just mom who is subjecting everyone to this. I mean, some of the most, so good.
You know, the ending of this film is this is my honesty as the director of this film, is that it's better than I thought was going to be. When I was thinking about the movie itself, I mean, and sure, okay, I'm going to tell people out there, the movie has issues. Okay, there are, you know, some. It's a low budget film, and I definitely don't see this movie as a perfect movie. It's not The Shining. But I thought the movie came out better than I imagined that was possible with our resources. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
And those last 30 minutes is something that every time I watch, I go like, yeah, we did it. I mean, we did it. And it goes with, I really dislike movies with bad endings. I have, have you seen a movie like in which like it's going great? I mean, you're just like, wow, this is like really great. And then the ending comes and it's just like this, like, what?
Right.
Disappointment. You know, in my mind, I was like, I have to end this movie with a dick explosion. I mean, I have to end this movie somehow with something that is so outrageous.
Right.
And other things, obviously. There's a lot that happens at the end,
Well, the Russian roulette scene, man, that is intense. And her,
yeah,
Lynn's performance, where it's almost like she's at this in-between space of like, oh shit, what did I do? But I'm still kind of, and he's like, it's you're like, it's your turn again, Mom.
It is a lie. If you count the turns, it's actually Mark's turn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But nobody gets it because it's okay. It's normal. It's one of those things that you really have to think about it. The order, and Mark does it to protect Karen. I mean, because the thing is, there was a version of this script early on in which Mark actually kills Angela. But in crafting the screenplay later on in the last 5 years, I realized that no, Mark is incapable of killing because he's not a killer. She's the killer.
Right.
But he wants to protect Karen so much that he's willing to, because he's autistic. It's kind of like this character who is, he doesn't understand like reality. He thinks it's totally okay.
And that's what I was getting. I was picking up like subtle notes of, maybe he has some of this same inherited, genetic, because even she says at the end, will I be crazy? Will I not? And I love the line about will he bleed out on the way? Who knows? And I'm like, dude,
who knows?
It's so funny. It's so funny. I was like,
yeah. And when you think about Nietzsche and the whole thing that, nothing really matters.
Right,
I mean, we're just here like, I mean, which is not what I sign up for. Okay, I'm like I try to be a good member of society,
right.
But for this film specifically, it's the movie's so outrageous that I felt like the Nietzsche ideas is like, oh, it fits kind of perfectly with the theme of this movie where, well, yeah, I'm just gonna have grandma walk in and eat intestines. I mean, I'm just gonna I'm going to do stuff that is so crazy and insane that, in this universe.
When I got to the end, my mind went immediately back to the beginning of the film where, you give this little bit of exposition. I love the A, D, B, C, B, H and all that stuff. But, there's this line where it's like, sometimes crazy people are just fucking crazy. And I'm like, we're going on a ride. Like when I heard that, I was like, he is opening and letting us know, at least for me, I felt like you're inviting me into no holds barred. This is going to be wild. Yeah. Sometimes crazy is just crazy and it doesn't need to have a ton of explanations and all this shit. And it's,
because see, I've gotten some people telling me, but why is, okay, I want to know a reason. And that's okay. I mean, there's certain people who need that exposition. But I need to know why. Give me a reason. That's not what I wanted to do here. I mean, the idea here is, yes, we could try to explain by, the hormones in meat, or maybe it's a genetic thing that passed on, or maybe some people are just crazy. And like it's on purpose. I mean, me not explaining is on purpose. I'm like, oh, but I want to know why. Well, you're not going to get why because I don't know why, and I wrote it.
Right. That's great, man.
I don't know why. I mean, she's nuts. So I don't know why. If you want to discuss, we can discuss. It could be many reasons, but it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't need. Yeah.
Right. You don't need to know how the saw, and you talk about grandma when she came in at the end, and
Yeah.
the scene in the bed where you just see this, mask coming up. And as I
Yeah.
saw the mask, I was like, don't be grandma, don't be grandma. And then the poor brother, he's always just getting like, go give her a bath, go do this. Like he's gonna share a bedroom with her and all this stuff.
Yeah, when Goth Girl, which by the way, Goth Girl is a favorite. I mean, everybody loves Goth Girl. It
Dude,
gets
so
many.
my social media guy Bruce, he's like, "Did you watch it yet?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting into it right now." He's like, "Go Goth Girl," and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like, but she is fun, man. She's
fun. She's fun.
Her
Yeah.
her quirkiness.
Mhm.
Again, the acting is so good, and for her to take that turn at the end, I loved. Because
Yeah.
you see this whole other version of this character. We're led to believe, she really is a voodoo witch, whatever, does all these
Yeah.
things. I love the idea she's sleeping in her dead grandfather's coffin.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
dude, this is great.
I mean, the act is so perfect. I mean, she actually like has sex in the coffin with
right.
the kid. I mean,
Right.
it's kid. He's 20, so he's
Right,
not
right,
under.
right.
But he's a virgin. That's one of the interesting things. The rituals. She says, I need to perform the rituals.
Right.
Do you mind introducing me to your brother?
Right.
And a lot of people go like the rituals. Okay, she's gonna kill him. Like, no, she's gonna have sex with him. That's
Right.
it.
She throws in the plastic vampire teeth. Right.
God,
So
oh God.
good, dude. So good.
That was my wife's idea, by the way.
That was
My
hilarious.
wife Kate, she was like, "How about she puts the teeth?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah."
Right. It worked.
I'm like, anybody here who gives me a good idea, I'm doing it.
Right. And she does though, and I like that some of the the deaths are so fast, and it's like fuck, man, like that's how crazy this woman is. You know what I mean? She goes from zero smiling Martha Stewart to just like shoot an old girl, and then shoots her kid under the table, and then we find out Mark's the son.
Yeah, I told Lynn, I said, your character is like a June Cleaver, okay, which snaps. And it's a complete psycho, which I mean she did it so well that I can't imagine this role going to anybody else.
Right.
One thing I can tell you about the film that people don't know about is I had a different actress who I wanted to play Angela, and she was a dancer. And that's when I added the element of the dancer in the screenplay.
Gotcha.
Because the whole ballerina thing came on really late in the writing because of this woman that was going to play Angela. Well, she read the script and she was horrified. She says, I can't do this. But because of that, I enjoyed so much the ballerina elements I had added, I decided to keep it. So when I was talking to Lynn Lowry about the character, Lynn Lowry says, but I don't really dance. I don't know how to do it. And I said, Lynn, that is the least of my worry.
Right.
You just do the best you can. And guess what? Nobody can say that she doesn't dance.
Right.
Nobody can say that. She pretended so well when she's dancing in the living room and the blood is squirting. Yeah, she could be a ballerina.
That was so operatic, just with this. I mean, and the squirt continuing to, and then when she stood over it, I was like, "Oh, we're going harder. We're gonna keep going harder at this thing."
Dude, I've had people, especially women, come to me and tell me, you know what my favorite scene is, and I'm like, "What? The blood." I've had several people tell me, women, that is their favorite scene, and I'm just like, "Well, yeah, thank you."
It works. It works.
Now, what do you think about the corkscrew?
Oh, great effect, man. Great effect. I was looking at the split kind of on the head, you know what I mean, was so good. And then when you get that almost like it was, when the brain pulls out like you would an actual cork.
So we worked with a company that they designed for us a fake head. So we would cut between the real actress, which is Della, which is great, and this fake head with a wig matching her hair. So it's a camera trick back and forth. But because we didn't know if it was going to work right away, I mean, they did 3 heads for us. Okay, because they really put stuff inside, and that's a completely practical effect. There's no CGI. Like what you see come out is what really happened. But when we were filming the scene, the first head failed. The second head failed. we had one head left. So imagine the stress,
Right.
how stressed out we were, thinking like, okay, if this third head doesn't work, CGI, fuck, which I don't want to do CGI, but
Right.
you know, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna
We
have
got
to
to
use
figure it
CGI.
out. Yeah, you got to do something.
And dude, it worked. The third head
Good.
freaking worked. And I remember it was kind of like a rocket launch when it's successful. Everybody just jumps and claps.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's like, because, you know, two heads went downhill. We're like, okay, this is going to be a dud. It's not going to work.
Right.
And everybody's kind of down. We're like, okay, let's see how this is going to go now. And Lynn Lowry, she goes in and then she pulls, the brain comes out, and everybody just,
Right. Yeah. That was a great moment, but I think my favorite so I am a practical effects guy. And I do believe that we are living in a culture now where people are starting again to yearn for that tangible.
Yeah.
They just want to know it existed in space and time somewhere, because your eye can always see through it. And you know, I'm Stan Winston and Rick Baker and all these guys, you know, they're like my fucking heroes, Tom Savini. And it's like, you can do it, you know, you can do it.
Yeah.
But it was the feast scene, man. It was all those little phalanges just lined up around that little thing of like cocktail sauce. I don't know if those were molds or those were just the actors with their heads up under the thing. But either way, the heads look so good, the faces, everything looks so great. And the realization that Goth Girl has when she's like, oh, is it chocolate? Is it sausage? And then and she calls them all out. Like, this is sick, dude. Like, okay, I pretended. Yeah,
this is fun. Yeah. What I can say is everything you see is real. But the heads on the table were simply a table with holes.
Yeah.
And the actors put their heads through it.
Beautiful.
And my wife, she actually is very handy. I mean, she builds. She's a woodworker. She's a welder, and she actually kind of built the table with the holes. And I didn't know how good it would look, and it was basically the actors putting the heads through the table with the makeup and hoping for the best, you know, like don't blink.
Right. Well, it looks great, like I said, you know, and very effective again with the editing and the camera. You know, we get enough to know what's going on, but not long enough to sit there and nitpick it apart and be like, oh, I saw him blink or I saw this or that, you know. But it's more, it doesn't even matter because we are trapped in this room with these people and we just want to get out. And then all of a sudden, dude, Goth Girl gone. Brother,
dude, we had the Goth Girl. We had we had a fake head with an air gun to explode the head in real time. Like it was no CGI, nothing. That was like the real head exploding.
And the splatter coming down the wall behind it was so good, man.
Everything. And you know, I remember that was kind of nerve-wracking. We had plastic bags over the cameras, two cameras, two angles, and we're just like, I don't know. Let's just cross our fingers and see how this goes. Because you know, here's the thing, man. When you talk about low-budget film, is we don't have the luxury of time, money or time. I mean, it's basically when you don't have money, you don't have time.
Right.
So, like when things don't go the way you want, you can't redo it. You have to just figure out a way, a creative way to overcome the problems. You know, I'm going to give you an example. So you remember the party scene?
Oh, so good. Yes.
Which came out amazing, and it's a bunch of people there, and we had a real party with people in costumes, and I really loved that scene so much. But Goth Girl and the brother were supposed to be there. Guess what? They're not there because one of them got sick, and it was like you know, it was the whole COVID thing.
Sure.
And we were like, okay, so I had to rewrite the script without them. And I think that worked so well that it was better than if they were
been there. Yeah.
They had been there. But I remember, you know, Jackson calling me and saying, you know, when are you going to reschedule my scenes at the bar? And I said, I'm really sorry, but we don't have money to reschedule anything. I mean, we had 40 background actors, and the place rented, and and I'm sure he was a little bummed out, but that's just the reality of you have to deal with things as they come in. There's no way things will be ever perfect, and when you don't have enough money, enough time, you just have to just figure it out. And we had some panic, but when I rewrote the script, I was like, I like this, because Karen is there, and she's like, "Are you coming or not?" on the phone,
Right.
and
We're doing the
Goth Girl was
ritual.
like,
We're doing it.
we're
Yeah,
here.
whatever.
Yeah, we're having sex, basically.
Right.
I mean?
We'll meet you at the house later. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
That was written kind of the 2 days before.
Not
It was
bad.
it was basically we had to just change because of the situation, so in a way, I can tell you, Pops, that we were very lucky that most of the stuff actually worked. I mean, we don't have any issues that were so big that stopped my vision. Like I said, it came out better than before. So it's just things just worked. We were blessed by not only a great team of people who were very talented, but also we were blessed by the universe making sure that we were handed the right cards.
Right. Yeah. And I think it worked out beautifully, man. I want to see if there's anything else that I have here that I did not. Okay. So first off, the cold open. I love the cold open and bringing it back to the end. And once you get there and you see her kind of in this, and then fucking crazy. Oh, the grandma eating the fly. I don't know how I forgot about that, dude, but just, I mean, like lizard, like,
yeah.
And everybody's just kind of like, okay, like grandma's doing the thing.
This is one of those scenes where I looking at it on the screenplay, it's kind of like, is this going to work? I'm like, yeah, I don't know, but I'm going to shoot it and let's see what happens, because it's so crazy and it makes no sense.
No,
just go along with it. I tell people, just pop a gummy, man, and
right.
smoke some, do a couple shots, just enjoy the ride, because it's not supposed to be a realistic movie, obviously.
Sure.
But it's supposed to be this just insanity that is nonstop, and let's just go along on this ride with these characters and just see what happens.
I think what works so well is that you like these characters, like, so even if you like to dislike them, is that they are fleshed out, to a point where you almost, there's a couple of them I was like, I would take a whole grandma backstory. I would take an origin movie of grandma and be like, yo, give me, like, I want to know where all this. But again, we don't need to know where it all stems from. But these characters, especially, when we get the big incestuous reveal at the end, you feel so fucking bad. Not only, for, it's Karen, right?
Karen, Julia Coulter plays Karen.
Like, dude, the revelation on her face when she's like, wait. And he's like, oh, right. And he's like, well, I just love her so much. I can't help myself. And then, so her having to carry that last bit. And like you said, right up until the end, we have this great comedic moment with grandma coming in just at the very end. Not only does she just grab some sausage, but she pushes the foot down a little bit and then cranks the meat grinder and then gets her plate. And...
One second. Don't
yeah.
Don't go anywhere. Okay, so here we have. Aha!
Oh, dude, yes! That's so badass, man.
Look at this thing.
Oh, that is killer.
You can do a screenshot for the show.
Oh, I'm gonna take one. I'm gonna take all kinds of them. That's beautiful, dude.
So, this is the only prop that I'm never gonna get rid of. I gotta get rid of stuff because I have too much stuff from the movie. But this prop, I'm never gonna get rid of ever. I mean, this is my favorite prop. I keep it in my bedroom, in my office. It's my office.
As you should. As you should.
Now, my wife says no, not in the bedroom. Yeah, don't. But it's in my office. It's like, hello, precious. Right. Hello, precious. How you doing?
And the foot still looks so gross, dude. Like even from here.
Dude, this is so fantastic.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful, my friend.
Yeah. Yep.
So what's So I guess, I mean, this thing is out there. I encourage everybody to check this thing out. A Halloween Feast. Like I said, it's on Tubi. I bought my copy on Apple TV. Sounds like we're getting a Blu-ray in the very near future. I will be sure
March.
to put that. Oh, March? Shit. So like
I think it's March. Yeah, I think it's March. The Blu-ray in March. I'll be posting if anybody's out there, you want to follow us on at A Halloween Feast Movie. I have accounts I manage on Instagram and TikTok, and we, I'm always there, happy to talk to people about it.
Nice.
And yeah, Tubi's free. There's ads. I mean, but you can get it for I think Amazon is 99 cents.
Yeah.
So
And I will say the one thing I love about Tubi is they are so good with their ads.
Yeah.
Somebody actually sits down, because sometimes I'll be watching on, a streaming platform, and I'm like, you didn't even think about where you were going to throw the ad in.
Yeah.
And at least with Tubi, and their ads are short too. It's like, hey, here's 30
ads are
seconds.
short.
Yeah.
And also, I gotta tell you, man, Tubi is good quality too. I mean, I blow up in the big TV, and I'm like, it looks good. But Tubi grew up a lot. I think Tubi, now it's owned by Fox, and they have a good structure, a good system.
Yeah.
And Tubi is really helping independent filmmakers, because it's a place where we know a lot of people don't want to pay for movies, independent especially. So it's a place where go watch it. It's free. If you don't want to spend $1 or $2, just go on Tubi. It's great. And again, I'm going to say it again. If you see the movie, it really helps us write a review on Letterboxd, Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb if you can. No pressure, obviously, but
absolutely.
It helps us, and yeah, I think the movie is going to be available, and it keeps going, man. We're going.
So I know this thing is chugging along right now and doing its thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me tell you, we are actually nominated for Best Indie Horror for awards. Which is Film Threat.
Yeah.
The website filmthreat.com.
Yeah.
So they're giving out awards. So this Saturday, January 31st, I'm going to an awards show because we're nominated for Best Indie Horror.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations. That's awesome. Even to be nominated is such a,
I'm happy to be
fucking honor.
Yeah.
Huge honor.
Yeah. If I win, I'll be shocked. But I'm glad to be there. I'm glad to be there. Yes.
And I was getting a little bit to this thing, doing the things, going to the awards stuff. But do you have anything like you're excited about moving forward? Is there anything writing that you're doing, again, can you just reiterate where everyone can find you? Let us know the projects and where we can follow along and do all that cool stuff.
All right, everyone. So, I have my account on social media, Guile Branco, Guile Branco, on Instagram.
It'll be in the show notes as well. It'll be all these links will be in the show notes, people. So look in the YouTube.
I'm on Instagram. If people are not assholes, I'll always interact and answer any questions. I'm very reachable. But yeah, Guile Branco, just that's it. I have my website, guilebranco.com. Just my name. It's easy if you look it up. But for the future, I'm writing a couple of screenplays. The one I'm super excited about is it's a mansion horror time travel.
Okay.
Very cool. Okay. Very cool. I
like that.
And my editor I've been gushing about, Ryan Kelly, who edited Halloween Feast.
Yeah.
He's also a director. So he called me up and he said, I got some potential investors, and it needs to be a movie done in one location. So I spent the last 3 months working on this mansion horror to be in one location.
Yeah.
And I'm not directing, but hopefully I'll be acting, and I'm the writer. And I'm happy to be part of it because I love acting. So for me, it's just like I'm just happy that I'll have less responsibilities.
Sure.
I can shoot my scene and go sleep. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh. Well, that's beautiful, man. So yes, everything will be in the show notes for this episode. Be sure to check out A Halloween Feast, man. I am recommending it from a very real place.
Thank you.
I don't think so. My regular co-host, him and I are a little bit different. I like, we did the Greasy Strangler one day, and he couldn't even make it through the Greasy Strangler, which you haven't seen. It's fucking amazing.
Okay.
Or Rubber, the movie about the tire, which I don't know if you saw, the telekinetic
I didn't
tire.
see it.
Fantastic. But I think this movie is not going to be for everyone. I think it's going to be a
Absolutely.
little too. I think it's going to be a little too much for some people. But I think there's a big portion of our audience, especially you people out there who recommend, Takashi Miike stuff to me. A little more of the extreme stuff. I think you're going to fucking love it, dude. I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to have a good time. And just. Even us talking about so many of the plot points and so much of what's going on, I don't feel like we do any justice to what it does to you when you watch it, because it makes you feel, even if it's feel gross, it's still like really makes you feel. You know what I mean? It hits you in a way that some surface level horror cinema, it just doesn't do that. And that has its place too. I think there's a place for nonstop gags and all of these different things, but your movie, man, I'm 100% here for it. Oh,
yeah. One thing that's very interesting is I've had a number of people who told me I don't like horror, but I like your film.
Right.
I've had many people who don't like horror who somehow they really like this. Yes, a lot of people will not like it, and I know it. I mean, from the get-go, we know it's a movie that's for a specific audience. But yeah, I think the comedy is something that people go like, oh well, I don't like the gore, I just close my eyes, but I love the comedy. So
right.
Yeah.
Like you can see some of that Dead Alive. You can see that Brain Dead in there. It's right there. But I think this even more than Brain Dead is. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching too far, but I feel like there's even though it's odd, like there's a depth to these characters that makes you want to know more. You want to know, but at the same time, you feel lost in this wonderland with Alice, where you're like, the whole world has been turned upside down. Nothing makes sense the way it's supposed to make sense, but I love it and I'm here for it. And so yeah, okay. So everybody, check it out, man. Make it happen. Halloween Feast, like we said, on Tubi. You can get on Amazon, Apple, any of those things. Sure. Yes.
In the poster in a little bit.
Oh, I love the poster too. I love the wings on the back and her transformation at the end with the black and the
amazing.
Yes, so good.
Amazing. My wife's idea again. See, it's good to have a wife.
Dude, you got a good woman behind your back. Yeah, helping you out with all this stuff.
And my wife did the costuming for Angela.
Really? Nice, dude. Because I loved her more the La Femme Nikita with the glasses and the long hair and the trench coat when she's doing her murdery thing. Top notch.
Oh yeah, we call it the killing jacket, the killer jacket.
Right,
so
right. Yeah,
she puts on the killer jacket at the right time. Yes,
that's so good. Okay, so Gil, really quick before I give you some of your day back here. Every week on the show, we take a segment to pause for the living. And this is the time where we just look at ways to maybe try to find a little bit of calm and peace in a very what feels increasingly chaotic world that we currently live in. And this week's Pause for the Living actually comes from I'm an avid comic book reader. I've always dug on superheroes and stuff like that. And some of the writing in there sometimes just jumps out at me. And I've been reading Absolute Wonder Woman. So you got Wonder Woman teams up with Absolute Batman for the first time, and they're talking, and Bats is like, yo, don't you ever want to go back home? And she's like, I would love to, but I can't. Her mission is so much stronger than that. But I just want to read this one line right here. So he asks her, do you ever want to go back home? She says, no, I think not. Love is transformative, and I don't know how to show that to people without living it. And that hit me right in the heart, man. I was like, the only way we are ever going to change anything, I think, is if we start, right inside. Like you can't give what you don't have. If I don't have love, I can't give Gil love. You know what I mean? I can give a lot of other things, but I feel we are becoming, a culture that is so siloed and everybody's divided, and we're at the end of the day, it's like, we're all human beings, we're all and even, Brazil, and I'm a big international horror movie guy too, like Coffin Joe and shit coming down from that way all those years ago, Mexico and things, and Korea and all this stuff. But we are, I think, experiencing all of the same exact things, whether it's on both sides. It's, it's fear and it's being afraid. But I think if we can find a way to meet, my philosophy's always been, if you meet anger with anger, and my knuckle tattoos are treat people with kindness, TPWK, treat people with kindness. But if you meet anger with anger, you just create more of a surplus of anger. if you meet anger with kindness, at least maybe it'll wash itself out, and we're not adding any more to that. So love is transformative, people, but you have to live it. That's the only kind of way to do it. Guile, man, I cannot thank you enough. I wish I could find the appropriate words to express, yes, how much this meant to me. Again, everything is in the show notes. So until next time, people, I have been Pops Ghostly, and with me was
Yo, Branco, and a Halloween feast.
Halloween feast. Let's do it. Let's make it happen, people. All right. We will talk to you next week.
No! 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 Horror Pop Extravaganza.